So what should you eat when you have PCOS? Let's get into the video.
Talk to me.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mercy Waithera. If you're new here, karibu sana. For the returning subscribers, asanteni sana. One thing that is common with PCOS is that you have insulin resistance. With insulin resistance, it means that you have to cut certain things in your diet so that to reduce inflammation, to reduce the chances of your sugar spiking. So what should you eat? First thing, you need to cut on sugar. Yes, you need to cut on sugar. You may not be able to cut down on sugar like dead on. What I would advise is this. Let's say when you're taking your cup of tea and you take about 2 to 3 teaspoons, you can reduce those teaspoons to perhaps 1. That will make a huge difference, and eventually you can cut off sugar completely. Unfortunately, this condition, you basically need to do certain things to keep it under wraps. That's what I would say. You need to cut down on sugar. You also need to cut down on carbohydrates. No more eating large portions of ugali. No more taking several pieces of chapati. You cut down on the cakes. I'm saying you cut down for now because eventually you would need to leave those things out completely so that the condition improves. It gets to a point, if you are to do a low carb diet and be strict on it, the disease kind of goes into remission. Let me use the word remission. It goes into remission. Then, sorry guys, I have a cold, so if you hear me talking like through the nose, it's because I have a cold. Poleni sana. So when you cut down on the carbs, your condition goes into remission. When you start eating the carbohydrates, when you start eating the sugars, you revive back the condition. And so you start seeing the cystic acne, you start seeing the irregular periods, all those things that we want to treat, they all come back. You also need to start drinking lots of water. Possibly if you can put some slices of lemon, that helps. If you can afford buying apple cider vinegar with the mother, that also helps. They help with weight loss and they kind of help your hunger pangs go down. With PCOS, you will notice that sometimes you have a bad body odor or a bad mouth odor. When you take lemon water or water with ACV, it tends to like flush down on those bad odors, if I may call it that. So, what is a typical Kenyan diet that I'd approve? Or rather, what is a typical Kenyan diet that has worked for me with PCOS and with type 2 diabetes? On a day-to-day basis, I have to drink water with lemon or lime with a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. If I don't have the apple cider vinegar, that's still cool. Just use lemon. Lemon water is just perfect. Well, fasting has been shown to help reduce insulin resistance in your body. So even if you're not able to do a 12-hour fast, you can push the time that you have your breakfast. let's assume you have a breakfast at 8 a.m. You can push the time you have your first meal of the day to 11 or even midday. In that time frame, you can have your warm lemon water or your ACV. And if you're taking ACV, please remember to use a straw, because ACV will corrode your teeth if you don't use a straw. Now, what are we going to eat on a typical day? If I'm breaking my fast at, say, noon, you can have leftovers, what you had for dinner. So let's assume I cooked beef, vegetables, and pumpkins. So what I'm giving you is a typical keto diet, right? Because I told you, you have to go low carb when you're trying to change your diet, right? So personally, I don't take ugali, I don't take chapati, I don't take rice. So what I'm giving you is a keto diet. For people who are not familiar with the keto diet, they can try cutting down on their carbs. Let them reduce their portions, and then it will get to a time that they may start eliminating the carbohydrates altogether. Is this diet sustainable? Yes, it is. People tend to say that keto is expensive, but I buy the cheapest things that are available in the market. So yes, let's assume I had beef, skuma or spinach, and pumpkins. One thing I don't miss in my house is an avocado. So that is a very heavy meal. No? It's quite a heavy meal. So when it comes to the pumpkins, you just have to be smart on how to cook them. And I'm not talking about, what is it called? Butternut. No. I'm talking about the traditional malenge, the traditional pumpkin. That is what you're supposed to use on the keto diet, or when you're using the Banting diet. The Banting diet is more or less like keto, but I'll go into details about that later on, yeah? That is a balanced diet. What you're not, because you have your protein, you have your vegetables, you have your fats. The fats are coming from the avocado. There's this notion that people say that if you eat avocado, you will gain weight. Actually, that's not true, because good fats help you lose weight, and good fats keep you fuller for longer. When you take carbohydrates, your sugars spike, but unfortunately after a couple of hours, because of the sugar rush that you've had after taking the carbohydrates, your sugars drop. And the minute the sugar drops, you start feeling hungry, you get cravings, you want to bite on crisps, you want to bite on cakes. That's the bad thing about carbohydrates. So yeah, carbohydrates are not good for us, sisters. They are not good for us. Kabisa. I would also advise you stop taking milk. Yes, milk is not good for us either, because it also spikes our blood sugars. It's funny how many things just spike our blood sugars, And milk also causes inflammation. You find you get so inflamed, and when you have inflammation, you tend to have issues like yeast infections. I know we really tend to get yeast infections. You wonder they come from where? They come from food. So when you cut down some of these foods, the inflammation goes down. So try reducing on the milk and eventually cut off milk completely. Try cutting down on sweetened yogurts as well. If you can try and perhaps take natural yogurt, that is better as compared to the sweetened yogurt. But going off dairy would be best to reduce the inflammation. You also need to ditch the usual table salt and switch to either sea salt or pink salt. Saying that the only thing you can eat is malenge, meat, vegetables. No, there are so many recipes out here that would be very nice, and personally over the last few years I've managed to know what works for me and what does not work for me. The thing is, different foods affect different people differently. For instance, even if I eat ugali, my sugars will spike. Someone else can eat ugali, yet they're diabetic, and their sugars will not spike. So over time, you need to keep a journal. You need to keep a journal to understand what works well for you. I'll attach some of the foods that I've been eating over the years so that you can get to understand what type of meals you would be able to eat. Vegetables such as cabbage, zucchini, celery, sukuma wiki, calicales, gourgets, broccoli, cauliflower, those are perfect. For the meat, you can do any type of meat. You can do red meat, white meat. I wanted to say yellow meat. But yeah, you can do red meat, you can do white meat. Those are perfectly okay. So chicken, fish, crocodile, game meat, all those are perfect. So I'm sure many of you are asking, where will you get your energy from since you're not having the carbohydrates? Well, vegetables have a small percentage of carbohydrates in them. You don't need so much carbohydrates for you to be active. And remember, when you eat carbs, your sugars will spike, then eventually your sugars will crash. And when the sugar crashes, what do? You tend to reach for things that are not healthy. You will want to eat the crisps, you'll want to drink the Fanta. So yeah, if we can avoid those things, the better for us. And when you change your diet, one thing I assure you is this: if you have cystic acne, you will see that they will start slowly going away because your hormonal imbalance will level out. In short, it's like it will be treated. So you will notice that you no longer have cystic acne, which are usually around the jawline for the hormonal imbalance, and you will lose weight. And it might actually help your period come back, because so many people with PCOS have almost like irregular, not necessarily irregular periods, but they have no periods. They spot on and off, but they actually do not have a period. Well, you're saying that, some of you might say, well, why should I switch to a low carb diet, yet I am not fat? There's this thing that Dr. Baj says, that you are thin on the outside, but you're fat on the inside. So if you're fat on the inside, it means that your organs have a layer of fat in them. So your heart, your liver, your kidney, they are all covered with a layer of fat. Have you ever seen, or have you ever heard that a very slim person went into a cardiac arrest, and you would think that only the heavy people or the obese people would qualify to get, let me not use the word qualify, only the heavier people, the obese people would get into cardiac arrest. Now this is where this comes in. You may look very, very thin on the outside, but on the inside, you're not good. Your organs are covered with layers and layers of fat. So a low-carb diet is recommended to women with PCOS, whether you are thin or whether you are fat, because it tends to help with ovulation, with the cystic acne. In short, this is a lifestyle that will benefit you, and eventually you get to enjoy it. All I would recommend is take your time, get into the internet, look at different recipes and see what would work for you. Then get into this knowing that my child my child is playing, so if you hear some noise, it's my son. Anyway, low carb lifestyle is not expensive. Just buy things that are affordable. Introduce eggs into your diet. For meat, you don't have to eat red meat every day. Eggs will suffice. Now, you can eat matumbo. Matumbo are not expensive. Yeah. Don't look for alternatives for ugali or chapati, because there is none. Honestly, there is none. There are alternatives for cakes and actually chapati, which is almond flour, but almond flour in Kenya is not so cheap. A kg goes for around 2,500. Personally, I've never taken a cake made of out of almond. I don't know if I'm too mean to myself. But when I think about the price, and then the ingredients, you just don't have to buy the almond flour. You'll need to buy a sweetener. A sweetener is relatively expensive as well. You have to use a lot of butter with that cake. So when I think how much like a kg of cake is going to cost me, say around 5k, the cravings just goes away. So when you're starting off, you can replace the sugar with honey for starters, but eventually wean yourself off all the sweeteners. You can buy stevia. Stevia is keto approved, but personally I'm so used to taking my tea without sugar. For it's been over a decade since the last time I took tea with sugar. So yeah, if you can stop sugar, all in all, that would be perfect. We said you stop milk. Milk will cause you inflammation. Go on a low carb diet. Introduce exercise into your lifestyle. Personally, I prefer brisk walking. I don't like going to the gym. I prefer just walking, just interacting with nature, breathing in the fresh air. So by the time you come back in the house, it's very therapeutic. So I don't go to the gym. I prefer walking or working out from the house. You can do high intensity training, but like twice or thrice in a week. So the days that you're not, let's assume you do the high intensity training today, tomorrow you don't do it. You give your body time to heal. You need to drink a lot of water. Some people actually don't take water. They drink, say, half a liter of water in a day. You need to drink a lot of water because water flushes off the toxins. Let's assume you're having a yeast infection. If you're having a yeast infection, you should drink a lot of water to do what? To flush off those. I don't know the medical term of I think the pus or something. Yeah. So you drink a lot of water, and the more you go to the loo, it cleanses your system. And if your sugars are high, drinking a lot of water tends to bring your blood sugars into normal numbers. If you have any question, kindly comment down below. Do not forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, and share. So until next time, namaste.